Welcome to the podcast. We have a really special guest, Dr. Eric Fishon, organizational leader and disability advocate. We are really excited to be able to chat with Dr. Eric today for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, I'll read a little bit about your background. So he's an author, you're an author, an educator, disability advocate, and nonprofit leader whose work bridges faith, education, and inclusion. You have founded an organization called Exterminator Kids. You also started the Dr. Disruptor platform and network. You believe that life is guided by a simple but powerful conviction, as is your work. Different is beautiful, and together we are unstoppable. Unstoppable. There are so many things that I want to get to, but first of all, welcome to the show.
Thanks for allowing me to be here. I'm a listener, first time caller. Like that old, I'm a media guy, so I used to work in radio, so couldn't help but do that. But I love the things that you guys do and love the platform. And I've been having a great time since being part of your group.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are doing some very unique things. And as you just referenced, you started off in the world of media and broadcasting. You had worked with iconic LI. So is that Long Island, right?
Yeah, so I am also a Long Island Against Domestic Violence. I'm the president of a not-for-profit by volunteer, and I worked in the financial service industries and Southwest Airlines and TD Bank. But I am now on my volunteer journey in the second half of my career. So this is all my volunteer world as
Oh,
I'm doing my advocacy now and being in school.
incredible. Your roles when you were at TD Bank, Southwest Airlines, was it always about organizational culture and customer experience?
That would probably say exactly what it was. A lot of field marketing, a lot of customer relations, customer orientation, all where I call where the rubber meets the road. And then after learning about my disability and learning that I had chronic fatigue and narcolepsy and some other unseen disabilities, I had to change my lifestyle around. Working in that regular work style was not an option anymore. So I couldn't do that, but I didn't want my world to be over. Just being unable to work didn't mean unable to give back. So
Yeah.
I wanted to find another way. It wasn't about money anymore. It had to be about advocacy on my terms and when I can do it. And because of certain organizations and certain I was able to do a little schooling and in my postdoctoral research, do more to help others.
hmm And I'm curious, did this personal struggle, right, behind your professional success was a personal struggle, and I'm reading from the website, that few could see. Dr. Fishon navigated life with autoimmune conditions, narcolepsy, and chronic fatigue, conditions that are often invisible to others but profoundly impactful during daily functioning, energy, and well-being. When did that start to affect you? Was it as a young gentleman, or was it when you were in the workplace? Can you share with our listeners
Sure.
when did it start affecting you?
And I'm really glad you asked something like that because nobody ever does. It was always there, and I didn't understand it, and
Yeah.
I didn't know it. From a very young age, I'd be at a red light and I'd fall asleep, and someone would be honking the horn behind me, and people would tell me, "You're just too tired." Throughout my times in work, people would just say, "You're not sleeping enough." But then I found myself falling asleep or taking naps in closets and hiding to take these naps. I'd find myself saying, doing so much work and overcompensating. But what was happening is it was the stress and the anxiety that was keeping me awake and multitasking, but not knowing that you had the ADHD as well as having these chronic symptoms, you were actually just running on a battery that was continuously low.
Wow.
Unlike a normal person, when you go to sleep at night, you go to this thing called REM. So
Mm,
you that's a first stage of sleep. Somebody that has narcolepsy misses that first stage, and whether you get 5 hours or 15 hours of sleep, you're still sleeping like a toddler and you can wake up totally unfresh,
mm.
which means I could sit and talk to you one day. You can
Yeah.
talk to me, and I'm like in a brain fog. I hear what you're saying, but it doesn't comprehend, and I can't get the words back out. That started happening in the workplace, which made it clearly impossible to sit and have a regular work.
Yeah, and how did that make you feel?
That made me feel inferior. That made me feel, first of all, it made me feel I was losing my mind. I thought I was alone. I thought there was no one else there like me. I used to tell people it's like having the flu all day long, every day, without the symptoms, because no one else can see it. until I learned about organizations like the Invisible Disabilities Association and other places out there that, and going to school, that I wasn't alone. And then when you watch children go through it and my son go through it, I said, there's got to be something different. My life can't be about just making money. And this is not my world. This is not where I belong. I can't do it this way, but I don't want to just give up. So I need to figure out another way to help people.
There are so many stories that I'm going to share with you back. So this is resonating deeply with me. Our son, who is now 27, was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. When I was 12 years old, I had an out of body experience during routine nose surgery. So essentially, I heard them say he's out, get started. The medicine didn't work. And when I recovered after that surgery, which was not a success, I then suffered panic attacks, anxiety, depression, and fear of losing control, fear of falling asleep, fear of surgery, fear of dying, fear of everything. At the time, Dr. Eric, this was a long time ago, back in the 1800s, because I'm old. No, you're not supposed to say I'm that old, but it was a long time ago. I remember my telling my dad, I'm afraid to go to school in the back of the bus because I'm afraid I'm going to pass out and what's going to happen to me and no one's going to help me. And I just remember him, this was 1970 something, looking me in the eyes, and he said, your eyes are clear, you're okay. Right? And that
Yep.
was it. Your eyes are clear, you're okay. So I had to then go through this struggle of anxiety and panic attacks that I didn't know why they were happening. I thought that it had something to do with that out of body experience as a kid and being scared out of my mind, but there was no one that could help me figure out what it was. So this really extremely resonates. When were you able to, after you heard, I'm going to call you Dr. Eric, if that's okay.
You can call me whatever you want.
Okay. I'm going to call you dude. I'm going to call you nice guy.
I like that.
I'm going to call you altruistic. But when did you, people are like, oh, Eric, you're just tired. Eric, you're working too hard. Eric, what was the turning point that you realized maybe I have something physically that is unusual?
It's when we were coming out of COVID. We were coming out of a COVID time period, and I had more time at the moment to go to doctors. I
Okay.
had more time to look into this. And I finally was at a I got one of these routine sleep tests that you take home with me that my nutritionist gave me. And so I went back because I was trying to get medicine at the time to help not only just keep me awake, but for some mood, because I have depression as well and I have anxiety. It is what it is. And I remember sitting across the table from her saying, Eric, there is no way I can give you medicine because you need a real sleep test. She goes, I can't just help you out here. You have so many different lines of things. So you need to go to get a sleep study. I go get a sleep study. And I remember the day after they wake you up during the sleep study. They put you to sleep for 8 hours
I
and
just
keep
had
on
one.
waking you up.
I just had one last week. So tell me more because I
Yeah.
have my results tomorrow, my
Well,
friend.
listen to this. So they wake me up all the time, and what they try to figure out is how fast you go to sleep, and if you go back to sleep. And if you go back to sleep, they'll let you go back to sleep, and then they'll wake you up again. But here's what's funny: when the neurologist calls me, she says, "Eric, are you tired?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "No, are you really tired?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "How are you driving? How are you dealing without medication?" And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, you have more chronic fatigue than I've ever seen in my life. She goes, you have what's called, you can fall asleep in 38 seconds after closing your eyes. And she explained to me what awake hallucination is
Mm.
when you're closing your eyes and you start to hallucinate and hear things and see things. It's like dreaming while you're still awake before you go to sleep. It is the most,
No
somebody was
fun.
validating you.
Yes, and thank goodness. And I'm getting emotional hearing you, and I'm so glad that you found that out. But Eric, this was not that long ago, right?
No,
7 years ago. So
yeah.
you're going through your entire career, busting your butt, working with organizations, getting your doctorate, getting educated, getting promoted, moving all over the place, having a family, and just dealing with it, not knowing what it was.
I'm going to tell you, I couldn't even do the education until 5 years ago,
Okay.
until I was able to get this diagnosis, because I was always told you can't go to college, you would never make it. You wouldn't do it. So I didn't even have a bachelor's degree until 4 years ago
Wow.
because I couldn't go back to school without an accommodation. And
Yeah.
I'm here to help other people get accommodations
Mm.
and learn in higher education why accommodations are so important with people with unseen disabilities.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. And let me congratulate you for persevering, first of all, as a new friend. Well done as another new friend. Thank you for sharing this. So, your academic excellence and research, DHA, MBA, MTS, MDIV, MS, MAOL, and MA, which are a whole lot of great accomplishments showing your diverse interest in education and learning. Okay, so you're going through all of this. It becomes a revelation. During the pandemic, you have a little bit more time. You see some doctors, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst case of chronic fatigue we've ever seen. Now you feel validated. Now you don't feel like, what is really wrong with me? How did you feel when they shared that, when your neurologist shared that with you?
At first, you feel validated, but then you're like, what's next? What is your future going to be like? Because how much longer can I keep this going? Because then you go to a specialist, and a specialist says there's no cure. And you start learning that the life as you know it, you are not leading the life that is healthy because you can't be doing the same things that everybody else does. So
Yes.
it's not something that can continue. And I fidget all the time. And I'm always have something in my hand. And I used to be able to look people in the eye and have a straight conversation, but now my eyes keep on wandering off because I can't stay on task more than a minute and a half. Try telling an employer that. So
Yeah.
that's why an advocate is basically your only job you could do is because it's free, you're not getting paid, and you're
Yes.
trying to help other people. And what I tell you is amazing is all those letters, those MDivs, those
Yes.
PhDs, and all that, but they mean nothing unless you're helping somebody else behind you get to where
Yeah.
you are today and remembering what that path is like. Because if you can't help somebody else so that
Yeah.
they don't have to go through your obstacles, and
Mm.
those letters mean nothing.
Yes. Okay. So I want to get back to your diagnosis. Great. You feel validated. Okay. Yes. You now feel compelled that you need to be able to help and share and educate and relieve and offer some relief for other folks. Was there Are there things now, or were there things like, what was the next part? What did the neurologist say? We can do this for you. We can do this for you. We can try this for you. Is there anything that makes you feel better other than knowing?
Yes, there's lots of things. There's things like cognitive behavioral therapy, because it's not just medication. Now, yes, I am on medication for that. I am on medication for other things. I have anything I do with my schooling,
Mhm.
it's not to get a degree. It is to actually use that information first to help me
Yeah.
so then I can help others. It's
Mm.
going into like I'm at Hellenic American University finishing a thesis on stress manifestations,
Mm.
but I'm doing that to help me
Yeah.
so that I can learn about my stress, how to manifest and take that stress so that I can help people who
Mm.
caregive for people like me. Because
Yes.
think about a caregiver. You are a caregiver for somebody with a disability. That takes something out of you, and if somebody doesn't teach you coping mechanisms for that, when the world doesn't believe when you tell them that you have a child with chronic fatigue, when you
Mm.
park in a handicap spot and they look at you with four eyes when you walk out, when they say, no, just get some sleep, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you can't learn to deal with that kind of stress, then nothing's going to help. So that's what I've been trying to do is I
Amazing.
still have days that are horrible. I still like I was about to call you today and say, Bart, I don't know if I can do the show. But then I said to myself, I need to do the show because it's
Yeah.
what's going to help somebody else.
Wow. Okay. There was a lot of similarities with what you're sharing, and thank you for being vulnerable and opening up. And my listeners know this about me as well. I try to be vulnerable. And one of the reasons why I share things that are motivational, meant to be motivational, and meant to be inspirational, and meant to be able to offer kindness and a different way of looking at things and positivity goes back to that out of body experience and panic attacks and that depression as a result of a 12 years old not having anyone help me, then being able to look for answers, look for happiness, look for solutions. I look at it from situational experiential stories. I look at it from experiences first or observations. I see someone else that is doing something and it is bringing them happiness. Let me watch that. Let me observe that. Let me talk to the person. Let me pull it into my heart. And when I see someone or know someone that needs to hear a particular story in order to make them feel better, I'm going to pull it out. And I don't know how I can remember these things, but that's how I'm using my situation, my health situation, my mental health situation to be able to help others. You, very similarly, but better in a sense, have used your situation to be able to educate yourself, to look for answers, to look for solutions. And now through your platforms, through podcasts, through teaching, through your books, you have been able to help educate people to know that they're not alone.
And that is the one thing. And the one thing also, if I tell one people one thing to learn, it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
It's okay to give yourself forgiveness for days because that's the hardest thing I needed to learn. It was okay to go to my job and say, I can't do this anymore.
Mm,
And you
mm,
can't give me an accommodation. And it was okay to go to a college and university and tell them that I need an accommodation. But what I find funny is, as far as we've come in America,
yeah.
as far as we've come in accommodations, as far as we've come in disability studies, we're still far behind. Because I've gone to one school, even for my doctorate, when I asked them for accommodation, they laughed at me. And they said, you're in an online school. You don't need an accommodation. And if you want to refund and leave, you can leave. And they stopped answering my emails. They stopped talking to me. They
Goodness.
made me, that's where I got the name Dr. Disruptor. They said I was disrupting the whole entire program. But
Wow.
then you have other universities like the University of Florida and the CUNYs, which are these amazing people who
Okay.
not only invite you in, they say, we have resources for you, we have coaches for you, we want to help you so that you can help the next generation. I literally
Mm.
cried when University of Florida accepted me because that was my dream school. And I
Uh-huh.
was always told I would never do it. And to be able to know that I'll graduate over the summer and I'm part of the Gator Nation is it's part of my character. My
Yeah.
character is the exterminator,
Mm.
exterminator kids. My
Got it.
character
Got it.
is a
Yes.
detective that detects people in a swamp for unseen disabilities. So each
Mm.
character has an unseen disability.
Yeah.
It all comes full force. So if you can't keep that passion,
Oh.
there are people, everyone who tells you no, just surround yourself with the people who will tell you yes and fight against the people who tell you no.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's so critically important. And I'm even thinking back to my son's experience. He's 27 now. He still has chronic fatigue. It's not like it goes away, but we had some hard challenges and we looked for medical answers and medical solutions. And just recently, God bless my wife, she had probably two binders, each about this thick. And it was, he has POTS. He has this. He needs his tonsils taken out. He needs all of these different things. Now, every time you heard a diagnosis, he had some positive feeling. Okay, we can figure this out. We can figure it out. But my son, from sixth grade until he graduated high school, spent most of his learning time in bed. Okay, in bed,
Because how
and
awful is it as a parent, let alone the patient, to one day you're sitting at the kitchen table talking to mom and dad, and the next day you can't even get out of bed because every bone in your body hurts so bad that you're crying, but you
yes,
look fine. You look
yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
And if
Oh,
you're
your eyes
not,
are clear. Your eyes are clear. Come
yeah,
on, let's
no,
do something. Yeah. Thank goodness, just to, if in case you're curious, thank goodness he has been able to manage. He's been able to grow out of some of the severity of it. And I don't know how or why. Nutrition is a big thing. Exercise is a good thing. He's never really gone through a lot of the additional conversational help. What's it called? Oh, CBT,
yeah,
cognitive behavioral therapy.
yeah.
He's gone through a little bit of that, and he's my son, so I'm comfortable in sharing this with you. But he has to balance himself. He pushes himself way too hard, but he has to balance himself. And I'm sure that's what you had done to yourself. Would you mind sharing? You had shared your son without getting into personal details. Is your son managing his chronic
It's
fatigue? If I
so my son has PTSD. He also has ADHD, ADD combined, and speech development. Do my son, as he gets older, when I first had him within my world, he wasn't talking. And he came from because of the power of love that his mother gave him to the opportunity that I can be part of his world. It is this thing that he's developed. He has so much love around him, but it's hard for him. It's what watching a child that has it so hard to express his emotions, and it gets very frustrating. But he was the same kid who's so smart, who was writing this book with me, who wrote this book with me, Exterminated Kids, and he'll tell me, Dad, I think I have ADHD like the frog does, and I think I have the zoomies today. So I
Mhm.
think I need to go to my quiet place. That's how smart they get. So it's every day is another, you see yourself within your kids sometimes,
Of
and,
course.
and it's difficult. But they were there, they help you too. They see what you're doing, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So I'm happy to hear that certain educational locations, companies, organizations are getting it. They understand that it is an invisible affliction, but it is real. It is real. You shared a couple of ideas that one, knowing what it was helped you feel a little bit better. And then the additional items that you had referenced also make you feel better. But then I'm sure you have to be able to measure, engage your energy levels in balance. Like you said, some days I'm going to feel good and some days I'm not going to feel good. And you just have to give yourself grace and permission that, you know what, today's not the best day. That's okay. I'm going to chill out.
Yeah.
I'm going to chill out. Not easy.
It's not easy, but when you surround yourself with those people and you have a partner and you have even the person who wrote the book with me could sit next to me and tell me, Eric, it's okay today not to be okay. She's my biggest fan, and also
Mm.
she's my biggest critic. Will say, you need to calm down. You need to relax. You need to give yourself. That's a partner. That's those are the closeness of people. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I feel that I'm completely successful. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up.
But aren't you doing it, Eric?
I think I
Aren't you
am.
doing
Being
it?
here is what I wanna do.
Yes, and you are doing it, and you wrote a book, and you're helping people, and you're getting out there, and you're sharing. That's that is your purpose, my friend. That is your
Yeah,
purpose. And all of your other past accomplishments, good, right? You worked for companies, you helped them,
yeah.
organizational culture, customer experiences, great. You help them, but now you are helping more and more people. Think about Dr. Eric, if you existed as a resource when you personally were a kid, how would your life be different?
Oh, I'd be listening to my podcast, I'd be reading the books, and I'd just be asking for help, and that's when I get an email from somebody saying, "I'm in a program, they're not giving me an accommodation, what should I do?" To give someone else my playbook, oh my it's the most blessed feeling. You know what it is, the point of that feeling of when you can give back to another person, that
Mhm,
altruistic give back, that is a human emotion. It's a faithful God emotion that they give us in life
mhm.
that is better than any medicine. I used to work out every day, 7 days a week. I can't do that with my body anymore, but I go to PT. But that high that you get when you used to run, is that same high you get when you help somebody else.
Yeah, and there's studies, and I talk about this, that one act of kindness towards someone else for 7 days in a row increases your personal happiness by 8%.
Yeah.
Terrific. So
Do you
you're
know there's AI out there that will
yeah,
help you with that? Like you can write into your AI or you can ask your Eva
yeah,
saying,
in
"Hey, could you?"
Marblism,
Yeah, which I do all the time.
yeah.
My Marblism helps me to help other people because that's what it does. I tell Eva every day, "Hey, Eva, could you do me a favor and today give me 5 posts that are going to help people because a snowstorm's coming to the East End. What could they do to make their day a little bit brighter?" And now instead of waiting 5 hours, I'm waiting 5 seconds to get that information.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
she's
but
got to stop getting on my calls without me being on there.
I know. And part of this podcast and how Dr. Eric Fishon and I got introduced was through some common friends with Marblism. And individuals are going to hear me speak often about Marblism, Marblism. Our mutual friend Yurik, who is the founder and creator of Marblism,
Oh,
providing essentially 7 AI employees to help individuals, I'm going to say, fulfill their purpose. Yes, it's great for me as a speaker and an author to be able to grow my business using these AI employees that he has right, enabled us to be able to use. But it's really to be able to help us get done what we've always wanted to get done,
But boy,
right?
think about it.
Yeah.
People like me can't survive without
Mhm.
people like Marblism. So finding it was like a gift because I can't hire people. I don't make money. Having Marblism, I have employees who work for me. They don't complain. They do work, and when I need help, their team does it. I wasn't kidding when I told you offline
Yeah.
that recently somebody reached out to me, said, "Thank you so much for your notes for that meeting yesterday,
Mm.
and thank you for giving us all that information." And I said, and it was a church meeting, by the way, and I
Uh-huh.
said, "I have to tell you, I wasn't on the meeting. Eva was, and I wasn't even there. I didn't know I had to set up that way." I said, I'm
Yeah.
glad you got the notes. I guess I need to listen to them too."
Yeah.
That's
No.
how good it is, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
only gets better as you use it, and it's a
Yeah.
wonderful thing because it will take all your resources and it helps you.
Yeah, it helps you, and I love that example that you just shared. Snowstorm coming to, right, the East Coast. I'm in the DC area, also got hit with it. But your point was, okay, instead of taking 5 hours to be able to share good messages, how can I use here's an idea, help me come up with better messages that people need to be able to hear to be able to help them feel better during difficult times. Bam. And there you have it. And of course, with your critique and your own points of interest in your own customization and personalization to make it even more real. But in the meantime, that's a good friend that has gotten started through Marblism to help you help more people. So yeah, there's so many things, and I can continue to rave and rave about Marblism. And Uric in particular does not want these conversations to be about Marblism. He just wants it to be about individuals that are entrepreneurs, that are authors, that are doing good things to help people. And it all goes underneath my platform of Most People Don't, which is the overall arching foundation of the podcast. So it's yeah, it's really cool. And I know there's some notes that you and I had exchanged before about how more people can use Marblism to be able to help them. The interesting thing is that I'll even sometimes use it to get advice on things that aren't really dealing with being an entrepreneur or being a motivational speaker or a podcast host. It might be personal related things, but it's giving me some really good answers, and I don't have to go anywhere else to look.
And look, I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it to just help other people because that's my world now. My world, my mission, my ministry, as I call it, because
Mhm.
I'm Greek Orthodox and I'm doing a lot of work with my church. That's my mission. Is I'm trying to take everything I've learned, but when you have chronic fatigue,
Yeah.
when you have anxiety, your brain is always working, and unfortunately, you can't get the things done you want to get done. And as you could attest to, Bart, you have so many things going
Yeah.
and sometimes just to have this board that you could put it out there and do a brain dump on and know that you can go back to it and it's still there.
Yeah, it's helping you be more effective, more efficient, and it probably takes the pressure and the stress off. And I'm just thinking back to your days working for other organizations, Dr. Eric, and I'm sure a lot of pressure. What's wrong with me? Why aren't I good enough? What there's so much to do, yet I'm tired and I'm working hard and I'm trying to take care of myself, but I just can't. There's a lot of pressure, and I'm sure that hurts your confidence level. But then when you know that there's tools, one being a doctor, a neurologist that told you what you had and what you could begin then to do, having tools like AI that's out there, having tools and new friends like Uric and myself and our listeners and our platform to be able to help spread the word, boy, that just changes everything, doesn't it?
Let me tell you something. I'm going to know that today, my most successful thing is having a new friend in you because somebody that can actually relate,
Yes.
understand, that's not something you get every day. Having that, having your, and that's something that at least I know that if I have a bad day, I can always remember, I can go back to this show. And it's a great feeling to have because that's what people need. People sometimes need to know that they're not alone, and
Hmm.
especially entrepreneurs, because no matter what your industry is, no matter what your entrepreneurship is, those days are very lonely because what is an entrepreneur? It's yourself, it's one. Okay?
Hmm.
That's what
Hmm.
entrepreneurship is. And it's a very lonely world sometimes. It's a
Yes.
snowstorm and you're making your own paths. But that doesn't mean that you can't get good friends and have them make some footprints with you.
And there have been more within the last 2 weeks. I have been meeting more kind-hearted people that are doing things not for the money, but the number one reason they're doing it to help others. And along the way, they're going to help more people. And along the way, they're going to help even more people. That's what I have seen recently. It is incredibly special and it's incredibly important. There's an exercise that I do if I have a workshop group that I'm leading, and it's called the invisible backpack. And Dr. Eric, I think you'd get to appreciate this. I ask individuals to write down just on a piece of paper, not with their name, not with their title, nothing, but just on a piece of paper, what is one worry that they care with, that they bring to work every single day? What is one concern? And they put it into, I have it here somewhere, but it's a backpack that is clear plastic that you would take to a sporting event so you can see right through it. So I call it the invisible backpack exercise. And I collect them and I put them into the backpack and then I pull one by one out. Depending on the group, might not have a chance to hit all of them. But the things that people bring to work as a worry that is on their back, on their minds, in their heart, are truly troubling. It was everything from my supervisor doesn't know what I do, and that supervisor is going to limit my career. I'm worried that I'm going to lose my job because so and so doesn't like me, and then I won't have enough money to provide for my family. I have an elderly parent that lives out of town, and I'm worried that I'm going to have to take off too much time, and work won't agree with allowing me to take off time to go care for my elderly parent. Like so many troubling things, Dr. Eric, so many troubling things. And as I was reading them, I'm trying to give people ideas. Pick positive, choose happy. We have the ability of thinking a certain way. Are you going to be terrible? Or are you going to be terrific? Just so many things that I have learned. You're not redundant, but you're remarkable, and you can do anything for you. All of these slogans and
Yeah.
beliefs that I have and my mottos that I have. But at a certain point, I started getting emotional and I got mad because I don't want anyone to suffer. Stop it, right? Stop worrying that you're going to lose your job. Stop worrying that you're not good enough. I hear that so many times. Stop worrying that you're an impersonator. Stop worrying. Just be you, right? Be authentically you. Ask for help. Use resources. Make great friends. Give to others. Volunteer. And the more that we do those things that most people don't do, it helps. It really helps. So I'm tracking with everything that you're saying. Last couple of moments, Dr. Eric, I'd like to learn a little bit more about the Dr. Disruptor platform, and then I'd like to end with Exterminator Kids and how that is helping. So would you mind sharing Dr. Disruptor platform and network?
Sure. And I'm more about me. If anyone wants to know, it's drdisruptor.org. And
.org.
that's my personal profile. My network, basically what I created and what we tried to do, me and my partner and Jen tried to do is we tried to create something that would have a little bit for everyone. Okay. So one of the part is Dr. Disruptor itself is all about disrupting the norm, about helping people with accommodations, helping people with advocacy, just helping people in general, just through our blogs and informative studies and stuff that we do. Then
Mhm.
out of that came our Friendly Ferns Publishing. Friendly Ferns is a not for profit to help people with disabilities that want to tell their story and want to one day publish. And that's what we published our first book under. And we call it Friendly Ferns because in Exterminator Kids, that's the town and the swamp of Friendly Ferns where the alligator and the exterminator and all our characters are in. So that's the Exterminator Kids. Then that's where that came from. And then we came to Exterminator Kids Hellenic. And that's believing that any child with an invisible disability should have the love of Christ and be allowed to go to church and be allowed to partake with the sacrament or in any, whether it's Jewish, Buddhism,
Mhm.
Christianity, anything it is, but with knowing that you can bring your fidget toy to church and God still loves you.
Yeah.
You could bring headphones to church because the music got too loud and God still loves you. So it
Yeah.
was, and not to get too much about faith, but
Mhm.
that it was allowed, and we're trying to show, and with the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese, they have a great thing with being simple human network, that I'm trying to use that as my calling to show that. So that's another avenue we went. And then what's life got without comedy and taking your corporate culture? So
Mhm.
then I came out with another thing that I called the cold plate effect. and this is my where the rubber meets the road.
Hmm?
It's my pun on corporate culture. So my cold plate effect is basically telling people, and it's the coldplateeffect.com, and it's my new book coming out that basically shows people that all those words that you see in corporate America when it says, "Hey, let's round back about this." What
Yeah.
does round back really
Let's
mean?
lean in. Let's deep dive.
Yeah, so the round back, what that really means is, I heard what you wanted to say. It doesn't matter. So we're going to round back at another time, but that schedule's really never going to happen. You
Dismissed.
know,
You're dismissed.
it's dismissed, or the low hanging fruit. That means you didn't get the easy stuff. So I want you to go get the easy stuff while I go on the golf course and let me know how it happened. So it's all about the fun vocabulary that I learned in corporate America that I
Uh,
just couldn't stand anymore and
mm,
how to write it down. So that's kind of how it happened. But my main purpose has always been is these cartoon little kids that just really did it for me. That what wound up to be my life. I'll show you. It's this little character right here.
uh-huh.
It's just so simple. It was the exterminator and the zoomy frog that all it took was a little character to show that this one alligator here,
Yeah.
he is a detective of unseen disabilities. And he goes throughout the swamps of
Mm,
friendly ferns to find different characters and explain to them how their disability is not an inability, it's their greatest superpower. And if it
fantastic.
teaches one kid that it's okay to have a disability, then it's okay. Because Bart, I don't know if I sold one book or 100, but you know what I got to do last year? I got to go to my son's school's class and read it with him to a class. And that was worth $1 million.
Yes, without a doubt, without a doubt. What a great special story, Dr. Eric, when we think about things that happened to us. If you did not have certain challenges, certain personal physical challenges, that wouldn't have created what you have created now. And it's really special that you were able to use what happened to you to be able to then help others. So absolutely incredible. I want all of our listeners to be able to follow you. I want to make sure I'm spelling everything properly. Dr. Eric Fishon, Fishon, author, educator, disability advocate, nonprofit leader, a gentleman who had done terrific things in the corporate world, but then it wasn't until the pandemic hit where you exploded your personality and your education and your give back efforts. We think about things that happen to us and happen for us, right? Pandemic sadly hurt a lot of people and killed a lot of people. But look at what you were able to do with that time out of that pause. You were able to create something very special. Dr. Disruptor platform. So it's drdisruptor.org. The book Exterminator, Extermigator kids.com. Exterminatorkids.com. Different is beautiful, and together we are unstoppable. Dr. Eric, I always like to ask two additional questions. What else can our listeners do to help you in your efforts to help others navigate unseen disabilities?
Share the story. Just come on, just find me anywhere. Just look up on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Twitter and just share because
Mhm.
we just want to share with people experiences. And if you know someone with an unseen disability or if you have a story to share, just reach out and share it because we are more than happy to help other people experience what we've experienced. And we want other children to know that having a disability is okay, and there's all of our characters. It's only the beginning, so that we together as one other thing is I'm very lucky that when you could see if you search my name that I'm an ambassador for Invisible Disabilities Association, and that charity coined the term invisible disabilities. And I do a lot of work with them, and I'm lucky that I've been able to attach myself to them recently. That there's a lot of love out there. And so if people need something, that's a good place that they can go to invisibledisabilities.org, and just letting people know that come join us, come
Mhm.
talk to us. No question's a stupid question. And even if you just want to know about education or schooling, it's amazing what you can find from Google, but I'm only a click away and I'll help anyone any time of the day or night.
Oh, fantastic. As I shared with you, the name of my company, as most people don't, Can you fill in the blank? Most people don't blank. What comes to mind?
Most people don't help themselves.
And there are resources now out there. Eric, you helped yourself. Now you're helping others. And you're giving resources out there to tons and tons of people, not to make $1 billion, but to be able to help more people. Help yourself. Go to unseendisabilities.org. That's the association, correct?
The Invisible Disabilities.
The
Yeah.
Invisible Disabilities.
IDA.
And then, of course, follow Dr. Eric Fishon and support him as much as you can. Like the podcast, share the podcast. More people need to hear this message. All right, you are an amazing gentleman. What a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing what you do and for doing what you do. Really special.
It is a pleasure. And one thing to leave people with, never forget where you're going, never forget where you've been, and never forget to turn around and help somebody else get to where you are today.
Enough said. Mic drop, Dr. Eric. Fantastic.